Before I call the meeting to order, I just want to point out that we are going to adhere to the conduct ordinance that was passed last, maybe a month or so ago. So any disruption by anybody will cause there to be
No warnings.
well, I guess it goes to the whole council, so that should be more.
Need to speak up a little, Chuck.
That helps. Okay. Around 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call. Everyone is here. Let's start with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting.
That's
2 meetings.
Two meetings, I suppose we had a special meeting. Then everyone had a chance to go through the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the minutes by Steve,
I'll second.
and we have a second by Twyla. Call for a voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, move to pass. Approval of payroll and bills.
This little slip is adequate.
Just a notation on the otter tail for the ice rink. We kind of called on that with the idea that there is no skating rink anymore. So they did a final read and pulled the meter box over there. And if we ever do another ice skating rink, we can always reestablish that, but it'd save the city almost $600 a year for not paying that base charge.
Making sure agenda, grab along with you.
So they charge $50 a month all year round, just basically have it.
Just for that charge, yep.
I'm not as bad, I know a lot of kids enjoy that ice skating rink.
No, I agree.
It's just that the money would be expect some. You can still own this.
Is there a fee for reestablishing it? Or is it just $50 a month? Is there a fee? I hope that's fee.
I guess I didn't ask that. I don't know how long you guys haven't had a rink. A couple years, it sounded. So if someone decides to want to go with that idea and, maintain a rink again, we could always reestablish it. Seth said it wouldn't be nothing to put it back up again.
Need a motion? Do we need one? Good, those.
Everybody had a chance to look at the bills and call for a motion.
Make a motion to be paid for payroll bill.
We have motion by Mike to approve the payroll and bills. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Twyla. There again, we'll have a voice vote. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, the motion approved. Financial reports and other reports. That would be Diane's.
The only question I had was just to verify that these ones that are from December, dated December, don't have the year-end transfer. in them. Is that
No, we're
correct?
approving those tonight,
Right,
and
but
then I'll
it's,
go back in and take.
but they're not in there yet. Okay. I was a little worried about.
Any further questions on financial reports? Hearing none. We need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Elaine. We have a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mike. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. We have a personal appearance by Karen Olson of Ferguson Waterworks. Karen?
Yes, I'm right here. Is it okay with everyone if I take my mask off? You can probably hear me okay, but it's not, you'll understand me?
I'll use it if you like.
Right, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I probably blow your ears off. Wonderful. So I am with Ferguson Waterworks, I am out of the Fargo branch, and I take care of the city's water meters and the meter reading system that we currently have in place. And I've been having conversations with the city for probably a year and a half now, because the current equipment that you are using to read your water meters is obsolete. It's been obsolete for a number of years now, and the vendor that we worked with to do any repairs or upgrades that were necessary is having a challenging time finding parts to repair that device. And on top of that, when they are experiencing battery failures, the batteries that we are providing to customers like yourself are not even lasting a year. So I've been having conversations with Diane and AJ about what the next step is for the city. So, I believe quotes are in the packet, that we're having quotes.
Yep.
So what I'm suggesting for the city of Surrey is this mobile reading device right here. This is called an MRX 920, and it is a radio frequency transmitter. You hook it up to your city vehicle, you drive around the town, it picks up the radio frequency transmissions from water meters, and then sends those readings back. Right now, it takes AJ approximately 45 minutes to read the meters in the town. Today, we did a test drive with this device. We just did listen for radio frequency transmissions. We didn't have a billing route. We didn't have addresses. We were just listening for sounds. And sitting out in the parking lot in front of City Hall, we picked up over 350 signals in less than 3 minutes. You guys currently have about 497 services that you read. So then after that, we got up, we drove around a little bit, and we picked up over 500, because I have some meters in my car that were probably sending out signals to that it was hearing. But we picked up over 500 signals in less than 20 minutes. It would have gone a lot faster if we would have had, say, the billing information with addresses loaded, so we would have known what part of town we had to pick up that messaging from, but we were just listening for signals today. So I wanted to demonstrate to AJ and then show Diane just how quicker the process will go moving forward. It's not a matter of should be, it's gonna be a matter of when be, because there will come a time when the device you have, I'm not gonna be able to find parts to repair it. It is not going to last. It's a computer, they become obsolete. So why should we be prepared for that? And I know the city has been having some issues lately, so we wanted to bring this to the forefront so that there wasn't a time when we AJ went to read, and that device failed, and then now we're scrambling to find something for you to go out and capture those signals and generate your bills. So then you would take this device, hook up into the vehicle, and then you would have an app, either on a smartphone or a tablet, because as everybody knows these days, there's an app for everything. So the meter reading information is on this app, and it is talking via Bluetooth to this transceiver right here, or receiver right here. So the receiver picks up the signals from the meters, it sends it to this app, it gathers all of that information, and then it goes back up to the internet where Diane can just hop on and she can generate her bills. And I'm just gonna do a tiny quick little demo. Or just you can see what I'm talking about. And if I'm talking too fast, or saying something that nobody quite understands, because I'm Norwegian and I talk too fast, slow down.
Is there any kind of warranty, what's, like, if there's any kind of warranty period on this, or?
Yes, I want to say there's a full year warranty on this, and then you can purchase after that through annual support to cover repairs and things. But I will tell you this, 90% of the time, if there ever is a repair on one of these, it's cheaper than what the warranty is. Because I have had customers purchase warranty and send it in, and the repair bill was less than what the warranty was. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So that's just feedback, we're just giving you preference to let the city would want to do. So I'll try to be respectful of distance. So this is what the app would look like. We could either be on our smartphone or on a tablet. And on the day of the reading, AJ would just grab it, he would hit meter reading. And this is a demo, so it's gonna have a lot of information, a lot more than what Surrey would have loaded for itself. So right now, it has all of the routes assigned, and it's telling you that on this route, there are 30 meters on it. And if you click down the route, it would list customer name, their address, their meter ID number. And once AJ was ready to go, he would just hit start. He would start driving around the town. The receiver would pick up all of the signals, and then this would just start populating, saying how many meters is picked up, how many have been read. Once he's done reading the town, he would just hit stop. He would hit unload. All of that information is then sent up to that worldwide famous cloud that everybody talks about now. And then Diane just logs into the internet, brings it in, and generates the bills from it. So this is the direction that all meter vendors are going, just because technology advances and improves, other equipment becomes obsolete. So we just wanted you to be aware that the device you have now is starting to see issues. Cannot guarantee how long it will last. And the last thing I would want is for the city to all of a sudden go to read and not have a device. Neptune is the manufacturer, and they make everything to order. So if yours were to fail, and we needed to order you a new device, it would take issue with produce. They won't produce it until the PO comes in. So then you're missing that much time gathering those readings and generating those bills. You either have to estimate or skip a month and then have double bills. Yes, I'm sorry.
2 questions.
Yes, sir.
That one can read up to 50 at one time.
Yes.
Smaller version, that's quite considerably cheaper. What's the range on that one? I can't see anything on that.
They really don't go by range because it's very similar to cell phone technology.
Okay.
And depending on where it's located, I will tell you this, the cheaper one that we're talking about, this is the equivalent of 72 of those built into one machine. So that helps you a little bit, hopefully. But yeah, so it would probably take them 45 minutes to power, just because it's not as powerful as of this one.
Yeah.
just breeds off each one of ours in the house.
They just get.
Basically, what she's saying is in one lap, you drive around town, let's get everybody water in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, it takes a little work now. And either way, we have to do something.
Have to do something, and
Now, something else too, Karen actually brought this to us after the budget was already decided for last year. So the program that we use is no longer going to be serviceable starting in December. And this is the new upgraded version because they will, not only is our reader fixed to be almost obsolete and non-existent, but the messaging program itself, we do all the reader stuff on, loading and unloading Black Mountain. That program will no longer have tech support after December 31st of this year. So we asked Karen to come in to address you guys as a council and plan to budget here because budget season's gonna be starting here in just a couple months. So this way you're aware, because it worked out good with her time and our time to do this tonight versus trying to get in at the last minute.
So AJ, just so I'm right, you take your handheld, you drive around town, everything loads to the handheld, then this is how it used to be, so that's why I'm making sure it's still the same. You hook the handheld into the computer, it talks to one software program, then that software program spits everything over into our accounting software, is that correct? So what is the step gonna be then to get it into Black Mountain if that software is gonna be obsolete at the end of this year?
It's internet. It's all cloud-based. It's going to be, it's called Neptune 360. It's to be on that famous cloud. All you do is log in, username and password.
And that's gonna integrate into Black Mountain.
There was some setup, I don't know if you read the note that I had there about it. It costs money for Black Mountain to do that, so I had.
Yeah, it's,
They haven't changed the way their program has been written or formatted so that the integration process comes across successfully without issues. But yeah, so it'll be, so there's no more syncing it to a handheld, there is none of that. The reading device gets its power from the vehicle, so you don't have to charge it up, that's it all night, you're all week to get its power. There's no bringing information to the computer, syncing it, going around, you just log into the website and go. And once Diane has brought that information from Black Mountain over to do the reading, then AJ just goes and reads. He doesn't even have to be in here, he could be out in his vehicle, she goes, okay, readers are ready. And if he has everything with him, he can start writing.
And are we looking at, if this is the way we go, do we already have a tablet? Is AJ just gonna use his
Do it
cell phone?
You do that.
You do that.
That's what the city of Ipswich does, the individual who reads the meters there, she just has it on her smartphone. And she just goes, they have 475 meters, takes her 15 minutes. to read.
Karen, I think you've been warning us about this coming for like the last
Yes.
3 years or so.
Yes.
And then I can say that Neptune 360 is what we are implementing, or we're halfway done in Elma, and it's working perfectly, very convenient and actually extremely informative to the residents. Like, let's say there is a leak or something somewhere, and if it's this easy, I mean, AJ can just run out and get the area of town read.
Oh, yes, yes.
Are all of our meters working now?
We had two, red meters last week, we had two that did read, that went out and hand read them, and Diana and I spent some time on the phone with Black Mountain and figured out it's just the typo in Black Mountain where it's.
More like a wrong code, a wrong number of dials, the number was wrong, so we fixed it.
I consider working on the period. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, help me understand here, the information can be collected onto a phone and then from the phone goes onto the cloud.
Correct.
Can the data be manipulated or changed in any way before it goes from the phone to the cloud?
Not at all. That's a good question, though, for that.
Steve, did you used to walk around town and read them?
Drive around, it was a day process.
Oh, where was I back then, huh?
Did you have to go into the houses or what?
No.
Where were they at?
Well, there was a route and then there was condos, there was a few that we had to read outside. But it
Because you
was,
didn't have no electronic stuff then.
yeah, but it was slow, it was a day process. charge the thing up, do 2-3 laps around town, and then pick it up the first time. And then the other half of the day, download it on it. It was a day process for these.
Did we put any money away? I know we talked about it during budget time last year.
Well,
That this
there's
is how,
always the COVID money, so we perfectly use some of that.
I mean, I still just get it on the right way, but
Yeah, I hate to wait because we did, the trouble we had this time, and I had never seen it before, was that it said the battery was low or dead. I don't know. But we kind of messed with it and we got it to go, but things are starting to happen.
Battery had one bar on it, and so we got a hold of Burlington. I run Burlington to borrow theirs, and trying to figure out how to sync their handheld to our headset. We couldn't get it, and the handheld that we have was charged up and up by then, that I was able to read. I just didn't want to start the route and then have it die in the bottom. And I don't know, I had wiggled it, watched it for 10 minutes, and never did see the battery bar move. We thought the battery might go in it, so I went ahead and ordered the battery for it. Still didn't get it.
In my opinion, we just, I agree with you, we just step up and do it, and I'd like to make a, can I make a motion this time? I'd like to make a motion, so that I to go with this option.
I'll second that.
Yep. We have a motion by Mike to, approve which device were you looking at?
The MRX 920. Oh, and with that, also to purchase from Black Mountain, the transfer system that they have to involve, so that's included as well.
Do you have a second?
I seconded it.
Or a second by Jenny? Any more discussion?
We're gonna buy this.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to just bring up one thing with it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we can get started.
This technology stuff never goes away. When we first got this 15 years ago, or whatever it was, when you were here, a long time ago.
It was just that.
What's that?
This is what we did, it's just a method right now.
Well, it's part of the same deal. I mean, we used to walk around, it didn't cost us nothing, cost us a day's wage. And we get promised the bells and whistles as far as this is this, and here's our annual maintenance, and it's expensive for a small town. I mean, it is. I guess what I would like to do, I would like to actually add something to the water bill as well. I would like to add something to the water bill, whether it's like a Neptune charge or technology charge. It's never gonna go away. 5 years from now, we're buying another unit, we're buying something, and we're not gonna have this COVID money.
every year also.
Well, the support is 21 under the first year, 25 the second, 30 the third. Nothing is free.
Is that the breakdown for the 8,000, or is
No,
that's how much
no,
it is
no,
in
no,
one
it's-
year?
It's more than just support. What it is, if I may interject, I apologize, I'm so sorry. With a cloud-based system, all of the city's information will be sitting on a very large computer system managed by Amazon Web Services. So number one, they have at least 5 server farms across the entire United States. If their server farm in Florida goes down because of a hurricane, your system does not go down because there are server farms in California, New York, wherever, are still running all of your information. That money goes for having your data reside there. It pays for their security system to protect your information. It pays for our support team. We have Ferguson Waterworks has 5 individuals right now that all they do is take care of Ferguson customers' connection systems. You can call them once a day, twice a day. You can call them every day of the week if you don't understand something and you need assistance with something.
And his wife can add in, it's very, very good support.
So that's what that fee covers as well. And then on top of that, right now, the way your system operates, your software is sitting on Finance Manager. And last year, when Windows decided that they were discontinuing support for Windows 7, everyone was forced to upgrade their systems to be compatible with Windows 10. If you have a internet-based system, you don't have to worry about compatibility. As long as you have internet access, either off of a computer, your phone, a tablet, you will always have access to your system. So that's what that fee covers. So I understand where you're coming from, because it is a lot of money for a
Correct,
small
and like I
business.
said, I mean, it's not going away. I mean, we forget to budget it. I mean, literally, we did $2 a month.
Well,
It's
do we-
$1,000 a month.
Do we currently pay a service fee?
The support fee,
What
yeah,
support fee would
and
that
a support fee, yeah.
What is our current support fee?
Was it 1,000?
Well, it has gone up since then. Right now, I want to say close to 1,700. But we didn't, we're not charging you guys for that now. We're having this discussion about transitioning forward. So we are taking care of you now in the interim. But for most residents, communities that are on the older platform, like how to transition, yet, it's $1,800 a year.
So our fee goes up.
So it's 2,100 the first year, then 2,550 the second year, which that's a $450 increase.
Another,
And then another $600 increase on the third year, and so on.
what does that
So
sound?
what's on so on?
Well, because I don't know, right now, Neptune is offering Surrey promotion. Because if you were a brand new customer and you were not using the Neptune system, it'd be $3,000 that very first year for all of that. So because you currently have Neptune, we are offering a discount. So for the very first year, it's only going to be $2,100. I hate to say it, because I understand, that's $2,100. And then they're doing it in phases to get you to the $3,000 that everybody else.
Is the maximum 3,000? No.
I can't tell you that, I don't know what Neptune did. A lot of it has to do with what changes will come in the program itself. Just like if I were on Office 365, the price could go up, you know, Windows, it's software, it's technology, the prices will increase.
I
It
don't
seems to
agree
me the longer that you have it, it should be cheaper, because you should have all the kinks worked out after the first year.
But they're gonna make it enhancements and improvements.
Yeah, we won't have that same unit, like 6 years from now, that unit's gonna be outdated and it's gonna cut $10,000. That's how it works. That's just what it is.
I don't agree with raising the water bills. I think our water bills are ridiculous the way it is. And we just lowered the garbage bills, we should have probably done that alone. And we have COVID money to pay for this, this is a perfect time to update something.
Oh, I agree, I think we need to use the COVID money to do it, but 5 years from now, or even this 3,500 or whatever it's gonna be when we get the maintenance thing, how, where are we paying for that?
Well, we're gonna
If there is no COVID money.
there's many things, because we're gonna need to eventually get a lower, we're gonna need a lot of stuff, so yes, that has to be figured in, but.
AJ, how many meters? Because I want to talk a little bit about the meter fund. How many meters would you say you bought in the last year?
Last year, what did you?
Because we had bad ones.
Yeah, we have backlog.
We had 17 that didn't work at one time.
When I started, there was 21 that didn't work. They either didn't work or they were, you walked out and physically met it.
But now you said all of them, as far as you know, are working at this time.
Yes.
So how many do we have, like, out in the shop? Do we have spares in case something goes bad?
I have 4 brand new ones for like new houses in Southwest. And then I have replacement parts for, I believe, 10. I've got 10 new heads to replace the heads that they put parts in. And then I've got 10 or 15 sets of nuts, in case the nuts go bad inside the meter.
And when we put a new meter into a new house, do we just do that and start charging them their dollar meter fund at that time when they activate the account?
I believe that's what they're doing.
On a new account, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did some math real quick while we were all talking. I've got a total of $16,325 for the transfer fee, the device, and 3 years of support. For 505 individual accounts, that's right around 90 cents a month. And everything pays for itself in 3 years. So if there was gonna be something added to the water bill, it was right around 90 cents in pay for all of it. That's just.
Don't we have a meter fund on the water bill now?
That's for the meters.
All I know is I pay about it'd be just about $100 every month for two of us. That's ridiculous.
And if you were just had North Curry water, it would be more.
I pay $125 for mine.
Our water is actually cheap.
And
I
then
mean,
that meter fund was set up to replace meters, like my meter through North Prairie froze 5 years ago. I had to pay $320 out of pocket for a complete meter assembly. And I had to put it in myself, North Prairie would come out with it. So the dollar we charge per meter in the long run is paying for meters that freeze in houses or meter issues, like say the guts inside go bad. You're having issues with the magnets coming off of them, that actually spin the register. That's what that meter fee covers, is just those replacement parts.
Right, oh, I agree, we gotta have some.
Versus put in a whole brand new meter.
Right, well, I agree, AJ, we gotta have that, too, but it's like, we just lowered the garbage, now we're raising the water, it's like.
I don't wanna,
We have a business to run, but we have to make changes.
I think I know that, yes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second.
I still want to change my motion. I think we can go into it at a different time and discuss if we want to go up or down with the water here. I don't want to cut too deeply into the code. But it needs to be done.
we doesn't want to forget.
Any further comments? Have a roll call vote.
So what are you leaving with that money?
Who did, who's the second? Jenny was?
No.
Okay, roll call vote. Mike?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Elaine?
Yes.
Steve? Yep. Lila?
Yes,
And Brent?
Yeah.
Motion carried.
I would just make a quick little comment, just like Steve said, technology is a great thing and it does cost money. But just think of going back to the old days when you had to go into somebody's house or you had the little thing on the outside of the house. And you want to talk about AJ going around and it took him half a day this last time because the technology wasn't working. Think of how much money that would cost to have labor power to go do that as well, so.
Otters have walks around and reads every one of the meters every month.
Yeah, they keep leaving my gate open.
And they were looking at replacing their meters to radio reads like our water meters are. And the technology was fixing to come forward in the next year or two. So Lauderdale made the executive decision that they were going to wait at 2 years. And then go through because the cost of the meter replacements is so expensive.
And I guarantee you, Otter Tail doesn't pay for that.
So
They're gonna come, they're gonna put in a new meter, you're gonna be charged for it, they're gonna give you a monthly deal, so you're not gonna hold next time around. That's just what it is.
do you want to talk about the first year, I call it support for all the other stuff, 2,100?
No, like,
It was,
Those
those
three.
words weren't said.
no, I did not include those three payments in my.
You didn't know the 3 times, just the first year. Because we haven't budgeted.
All three of those did not include in my motion, just the Black Mountain fee and the lights.
Don't we have to have the one?
I don't see where we have a choice in regard.
You don't,
You have to pay
We
the-
don't, we have to have the support to get the system set up.
Anyone else can make a motion. That is,
We have to add it to another motion, right?
Just make a new motion.
We have a motion to pay the extra fees involved.
Don't we currently pay for support?
1,700, right?
Yeah, 1,700, yes.
So we currently budget for support, so I just think that motion is.
What's that?
We already have support from them. From Ferguson.
But it's more than just a framework.
We're just using that word.
Okay, all right.
But,
I mean, it's
but
just going to change with the purchase of the new machine.
does that, was what we paid to you roll over to this machine? What we would have already paid you for the current year, let's say?
I can find out if I can do that.
Okay.
I'd be willing to look into that for you.
Okay, yes, thank you.
That's it.
For last year.
No, for this year.
Whatever year we're in, I don't know if we go from June to January.
Okay, do we need a motion to pay or are we gonna wait until next one?
I think we're good.
Really?
If we've already got support on it and you're gonna check into it to see if that rolls over, then we'll find out. Plan to support
Our
that
seventeen hundred is not paid to you right now, though.
next meeting.
I didn't charge it this time, but I will look into it.
So that should be in the
So it
budget.
comes in on new, it comes on January. That must be when the annual support is due.
So we got it, we're good.
Okay, moving on, ordinances.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it, Karen.
Thank you. What do we have on ordinances?
No, I just leave it on.
Okay. Unfinished business? Anyone there?
Actually, I do have one thing on unfinished, anything on Klein's water bill from the city attorney?
She said, you talked to your city attorney, and I sent back and said he's been involved with him before, and if he can't represent, he can't speak to us about it, then she did not respond.
Who is she?
League of Cities, she helps us on that.
Second.
Yeah, she's my.
Okay, new business, number 2, building permit for Tyler Craft.
This is the house right over here, correct?
Turn it on.
Yep, 104.
The zoning board moved as January meeting to recommend that the city council approve the building permit allowing for a new manufactured home to be set adhering to section 3A requiring the 4-foot perimeter foundation along with piers be required, all property line setbacks be met, and remediation be decided upon for soil contamination, testing, leaving possible leaking sewage. Pending response from the First District Health Unit to see if the soil is testing is something they could do.
Have we gotten a response?
No,
They've been playing phone tag.
it's been a phone tag process, yeah. And then, you know, I mean, as far as the building inspector point, he had just said that, you know, it would be our public works, the city's responsibility to look at, you know, connection of the lines. But is the city responsible to determine if someone's got pipe laying above ground under their home? I mean, I don't know how cities actually go in and inspect that. I think our portion as a city is to look at the main and what's on the property. How can the city go on the property and investigate? That's the question, kind of the, you know, depends on the side of the First District. Is that something that they do?
What's the, this can't be done probably till spring. If you're gonna dig a foundation, perimeter foundation, that ground is confirmed. Is this something that has to be decided on tonight?
Probably not. I think the property owner would like to know possibly if, you know, as far as if approval is going to be considered with the idea he needs funding to do it.
Right. I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
could we, I know this has been a thorn in some people's sides for a while. I think I see no problem approving it. He wants to replace what's there, and that's been the issue. I see no problem with that, but I'm asking, could we make a motion to approve it with this, still have this pending issue in the bottom?
With a contingency
Yeah.
of that, yes.
Does anybody see a problem with that?
No, because I'm sure if they want to go over the loan for their home and stuff, they're gonna want.
Right, and I'm guessing that's where he's gonna wanna
Yeah,
go.
and I don't wanna drag our feet on it, so.
Is it possible to like have a public hearing or something on it? I mean, I think this,
It was already here,
was it?
yep,
Usually planning and zoning takes care of that public hearing.
yep, they did have a public hearing on a different sized permit. And there was some contemplation on ordinance, which, then Mr. Kraft came in with a new, permit, meeting that code for requirement on size, bringing it all up to code.
Okay, I guess that was my question too, because I was under the same understanding that it wasn't gonna be this big. Yeah, a smaller one at one time.
He did, and originally,
Now,
and that's
on
his,
our ordinance though, does our ordinance say like a single wide trailer is allowed, or how does that read, you know?
the ordinance was,
Minimum square footage.
Was for a double wide, I thought, yeah, that's single wide.
That's what I also thought that was.
If they replaced it, it had to be a double wide.
Shouldn't our.
And it reads like that, that's great, I was understanding.
yeah, and I believe it's a 24 by 48 that has to be brought up to code in order for the standard to be met. And that's why there's a new permit brought in, because he did have his original, and heard the neighbors and decided, hey, you know, I understand they're worried about valuation in our neighborhood, and he's trying to do the best he can with what he's got, you know, but still making, everybody else satisfied on their end. And it's a remediation that's being required from the first district as well.
Isn't this, but this is actually follows our ordinance better than.
It
the
does,
Original one, right?
absolutely. Yep,
This is break our current ordinance, not the original.
no, it brings it up above where it needs to be, actually.
Well, if they're digging footings and that, they will have to open up the ground to hook onto the sewer anyway, so. I don't,
Is it getting moved over to the more center of the lot?
It's not. He's gonna meet the 6.5 foot side yard restriction.
Yeah, pretty much in the water.
Putting it in sideways.
He is putting it in the long ways as well, yep.
Was there any concerns from the neighbors who attended the public hearing?
Just on the idea of the soil, you know, the idea that, you know, why is there stench there? Why did the neighbor have to pay a higher contractor rate to have somebody come and work on their property because of what's happening on the adjacent property? That was the concern heard with the new home.
It's unbearable.
You're good with this,
With the new,
with the new plan?
with his setbacks, he's gonna be further away from my house. Which is,
He's more in the middle of the lot.
I don't know, he's still gonna be towards my side, but.
From his
He's gonna
sketch,
be, he's gonna be like, there's no, like, it's gonna be, where he's gonna put it out, because it's what your rules are.
from his sketch out, it looked like he's going 10 feet from the line, the property line. But he's at least gotta meet the 6.5 standard. And he knows that, he's heard that, you know.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the recommendation, from planning and zoning, with the contingency that, when the foundation is taken a look at, that something has to be done by the homeowner to verify that his sewer pipes are in good condition and that there is nothing wrong with the soil. That's my motion.
we have a motion by Lane. We have a second.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Steve.
I'm thinking it's above ground, sewage pipe is probably cracked and broke, that's what.
So once that's gone, it'll probably solve the smell problem, I would think.
Well, it all depends on how badly that ground is saturated. You know, cats living under there. They're running around somewhere way up here again. I heard there's 30 cats there.
I was told that also. We have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none,
Not moving for more cats.
hearing none, call for a roll call vote. Elaine,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Brett,
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
and Twyla.
Yep,
Motion carried.
I guess we could you bring that ordinance to the next meeting just so we can take a look at it and figure it out?
I was just thinking like when the house is moved out there, AJ could just take a look at the existing ground, yeah.
well, and again, I would like to still see, if you guys can get a hold of First District just to ask them about that soil testing. Just follow up with that as well. To see if they do that, 'cause if they don't do that, we gotta have a plan on that. If there is an issue, once that house gets moved.
would the health unit not send a response to the city since it's on a permit? Or to planning and zoning?
I don't think they'll do it.
Anita's just been trying to call.
Right,
If they get a match.
just waiting for a response.
Well, that's what it says here.
Sure, trying to
To
find
see
it.
if soil testing is something they would use.
I mean, in reality, you should probably dig 3 feet of that dirt up and drain it with dirt. I don't know, but probably. I mean, it's been saturated with
We don't know what.
jack freezes and everything else for the last 30 years, and it's like not having the sewer.
Any further comments? Move on to the city clerk position.
I've been talking to Diane about, the city clerk position. And I think she and I were both hopeful that, Lisa will be able to come, to work at some point, after her health conditions cleared up. It doesn't appear that that's going to happen. So, I think Diane feels that maybe we don't need a full-time person in there, but a part-time person maybe 20, 25 hours a week. Is that what it was anyway?
It was 32.
And 32.
Yeah.
Wasn't full time.
I think that even 3 days a week for a few hours each day would be fun. Personally.
I just want to say that Diane and Anita both have been filling in and picking up the slack, but I know in the summer when it gets busier with parks and T-ball and such, that it's, gonna be more difficult for them to do that.
I know the police department really picks up in the spring, summer, fall as well. So, I mean, kudos to you guys for keeping up. Absolutely, it's fantastic. It's just 2 of you in the office. And the part-time person, I would be in complete agreement with that for like 6 months out of the year. But I feel like come May, you guys are gonna be completely bombarded. with
Not even
work.
May, I'm thinking March, when Park starts talking about hiring, getting ramped up for spring to spray, they're talking about doing some,
I don't know if you could advertise for like April 1st to September 30th, 30 plus hours a week, and then after that, it could be the 15th.
But is it really gonna be that much difference in money when you have somebody 30 hours year round? You know what I mean? And then cut them to 15 in the summer?
I think it has to be an interview process. You just tell them, hey, it's gonna be 24 to 32 when we're busy. When we're slow, you're gonna get 10 or 15 or 12. I think it's something where you just need
And I
someone
think,
that's,
I think too, might be put that right in the ad, so you don't get all these applicants that think it's something more. You know, it cuts back to, then you know exactly what you want.
The part I don't understand is, how come we haven't known about this for so many months?
You've asked me about it for the last 2 months, so you have.
And I haven't got an answer from you, have I? Not one answer.
But it goes back
To kick
to,
me out? No. For saying that?
In that tone of voice, yeah.
I can have whatever tone I want. I
Okay. All right, shall I read? Shall I read some
read
of
it,
this?
read anything you want.
Okay.
All I asked you is a question.
Brent, that's it. You can't say that. You cannot do that.
Say what? I
You
asked.
can't say it
all
like that, sir. You can't do that.
All I asked for, I've asked this multiple times and I have not gotten an answer. What's the point of me sitting here? If I can't get an answer, we haven't had a first for months. And I'm asking why, not the sick part, but why hasn't it been addressed?
We're addressing it now.
Okay, moving on.
Well, I'd like to know,
we need to figure out what
Can
city
we-
clerk.
advertise for somebody, can we re-list the job?
I think as long as exactly what was said is that if you list it up front, that this is, just like Jenny said, this is what we're looking for during these months and what we're looking for during these months. I think by putting it right up front, then that covers our bases for,
Seasonal.
And then to consider, you know, I mean, we have been holding the fort, but there's a lot I still need to learn. I'm just being honest with you guys. Diane, you know, she's rolled through budget here and assessments. There's a lot I need to wrap my head around for that too. So,
Can we just advertise it for like 20 hours a week on average?
Kevin, did you have something?
I'd just like to add one thing to that is Jenny used to take care of all the transcription for the police department when it gets busy during the summer and we're doing a lot of interviews of witnesses and so forth. I would appreciate if you would include in that advertisement somebody that can run the transcription machine. Because when we get our busy months and the crime goes up and we do a lot of interviews, we need somebody in that position that's gonna be able to do that. And that's all I have.
okay.
Thank you.
So that's listing like microphone and typing?
Yes.
Did we not approve Stephanie Munoz? If
It sounds like it's changed a little bit, so maybe we should, she's welcome to interview again.
anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think we should interview again since the position's changed.
Been too long, I think.
What did we decide? We're gonna put on an ad for a person for 32 hours a week or less,
20.
20 hours
20
a
hours
week
a week.
on average.
Wonder if that person would be able to mow. We have a mowing person too we're hiring in the summer.
Well, that's when that's when she's gonna be busier. So mowing is when you get more in the office.
Okay. We have a motion. We don't have a
I'll make a motion that we advertise the position for the city clerk with the details that Diane has.
We have a motion by Twyla to hire a city clerk or advertise for a city clerk for 20 hours a week or less, or just 20 hours a week.
On average.
On average.
On average, there you go.
I'll second.
What rate? I'd put it right in there for payroll, please, thank you.
What will we,
We usually say dependent on experience, and we decide after we,
there you go.
What did we hire the last one? Just so we-
15, and then after so long, she used to go to 15, 50.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Right, good.
Mike seconded.
Mike seconds?
Yep.
I just have one more thing. I think when we did hire Lisa, wasn't it in the motion for Steph to be second in line, like if she turned it down? I feel like we should at least reach out to her. I mean, the hours have dropped, so maybe she wouldn't be interested, but it was in the motion, I guess.
My understanding was she didn't interview that one. I guess I would rather have something.
I guess my thought was that 3 people were interviewed and Stephanie was the 3rd person, so there was a 2nd person after that. I mean, I think normal office protocol would be you go to the 2nd person if the person turns it down.
And some people would rather hire everybody that doesn't live in this town and just doesn't last.
I believe there was a motion passed at that time to hire Stephanie if Lisa didn't take the job, or I don't know how it was worded, whether she didn't take the job or.
It's been 4+
But
months.
she did take the job, so I mean, that's really not.
Well, she was here for 2 weeks.
2 weeks out of 4 months.
Yeah, so who's to say that the second choice could have been better than the third choice, if the first choice?
It's
only showed up
amazing
for
that
a
we
week.
can have 4 months with no clerk and there's nothing done.
But the interview process is, there's a rating process. I'm just saying that that's how it went. There was a first, a second, and a third.
Okay, we have a motion to advertise for a job for 20 hours a week, depending on experience to salary. Motion was by Twyla, second by Mike. Roll call, Twyla,
Yes,
Mike,
Yes.
Brent. No. Steve. Yep. Elaine
Yes.
and Jennifer.
No, can I sit in on that hiring committee, please? Can I be appointed to that?
Say again, please.
Can I sit in on the hiring committee, please?
I don't see, what's on there is it's Diane, myself, and, Twyla is the personnel person. I don't know, do we need a motion or how do we
we have to
handle
have
that?
a meeting every time, or when we're looking at interviews.
Say
They don't
again?
have, they all have to be public interviews then.
They are.
They're all public because you guys are committee representing. But it's still not a forum. We got that figured out now. But it is an open meeting.
Okay, then Jennifer's on.
Yes, please.
Okay. Engineers report.
Wait, what does that mean? And you're asking the questions too, or you're just listening?
I would like to be on the committee. Yes, asking the question.
It'll be 4 of us.
If it's just a point system, I don't think I mean, Mike changed out for Twilight at the last one, so.
For one interview.
it's like, I'll just be taking points.
Okay, back to the engineers report.
There was a email in front of you. So we have to update some of the crossings for the quiet zone. It has to be done every 5 years. It has to be done. It's like traffic counts and that type of thing. So I've sent it to our engineers and they're working on getting that set up. If we don't get this done, we would lose the noise control. So it starts function on again, so.
We do not want this.
we do not want that.
That's just an update, we shouldn't have to do anything on that.
Information.
Public Works.
So January was an extremely busy month. Got meter parts ordered, which I brought up when Gary was here. Really haven't had much snow to plow, but we have had some ice jams in the curb and gutter we've been dealing with. Plowed, sanded, cleaned up as needed. We discovered an ice plug in the water tower and the overflow. We spent a couple days thawing and getting it cleared out. I climbed the water tower and checked the drain valve on the bottom of the tank to make sure that it wasn't leaking. We do have an appliance metal dumpster out back now, again, through Continental metals. And I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the metal that goes in there, they cut us a check for, when they recycle it. Not 100% sure, but I believe that's the way it's set up. Found some wiring issues with the sander lights on the 1 ton because of the salt sand. So I had to do a bunch of rewiring on the bed on it. Serviced it because it was due. On Facebook, I found some free file cabinets, some great big ones that we went to Minot and picked up one day. Ordered a new LED light for the utility truck because it blew off one day coming from Minot and it hit the bed, it stripped all the wires out of it. The light on the Bobcat, the safety light, blue light, whatever you want to call it, it took a dive on us, so I ordered a new one for it. Both lights have been installed and they look awesome. We've had several compliments for them. Don't look directly at it, it's bright. After the windstorm we had several calls about trash in Silver Springs, so we went out there and helped picked up around town as needed. Called Otter Tail about a tree that was blown into the power line across from City Hall here. They asked for our help directing traffic as it was towards the time school was about to let out when they cut the tree out of the power screen on the valve exerciser and tried everything we could do. Ended up having to order a upgraded one. Got it installed. Had to do a little work with the air compressor in the shop. I took there was a trampoline at Silver Springs nobody claimed. I took the springs off the trampoline and built some fire hydrant markers. We got those built and painted, put up on some of the fire hydrants around town. And 4 or 5 months, if they still look good and haven't come apart, because galvanized welding on springs is really hard to do and you don't weld that much. Then I'll take the rest of the springs and probably build some more. We had an after-hours sewer issue over in Northeast where obviously everything's in backyards. We checked manholes both sides, they appeared clear, but we went ahead and got the fire truck and flushed a tank of water down it just in case. Told the homeowner it was her service line, which we had issues with this house before. Last week, John went to a class in Bismarck on Monday, went and took his water and wastewater tests on Tuesday, and this afternoon we got his licenses for water and wastewater.
Nice.
So now he's fulfilled all of his hiring requirements for his pay raise. Replaced the water meter in the fire hall that wasn't reading, which that was a bigger meter than normal, so it wasn't like I could just pull one off the shelf. Did some work on the fence around City Hall, and John did some research on a cheaper alternative for salt sand, and we're still kind of on the fence as to whether or not it would be feasible or not. And we took the dump truck back to Dakota Fluid Power because after all that work to the main ram and the control lever for the plow freezing up in the winter, the ram had a leak in one of the seals that they're working on, and they're trying to figure out why the plow lever isn't working. It's got moisture in the valve body or what. So we were down the dump truck for a little bit. And that's all I had.
Thank you.
Was there a committee meeting? Did you guys have your committee meeting to discuss the public works director position?
No.
Well, then I'm just gonna make a motion again to promote AJ to the public works director with a minimum raise of 50 cents per hour. I make a motion to promote AJ to the public works director with a minimum wage increase of 50 cents per hour.
Second by Brent.
Is there a reason we didn't have, I suppose you were gone?
Up on the meeting that
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
We don't have that position. Entertain a command.
So that's why you made the decision not to have it after we all voted on it.
No, you, Kevin,
I think it was everybody from the city.
Everybody.
It was,
All of them.
it was right here in the minutes from
Yeah, it's there.
January 4th.
We have a motion and a second. Any further comment?
For instance, that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For instance, that sewer issue you said you had on Third, right, northeast, wherever you had it. I mean, I wouldn't know, okay, let's say it was a water break. I wouldn't know, I wouldn't be able to tell you which lines you have to turn off, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. None of these people up here would be able to tell you that either. So I just feel like he should be in charge of his own department. And now that John passed his test, now we have two people, that's absolutely fantastic.
See, you know, it wasn't that long ago, we had council members that sat right up here that changed things. We can change things if they're not working correctly or to better them. So I don't know why we're all scared to change something all of a sudden.
Then I think we need to discuss that instead of just making a motion to do it. I think it really needs to be a discussion. If that's what we want to do, make him the director, then great, but then I think we as a group need to first make that call.
It's still in the ordinance.
I think it's in the ordinance because it's never been changed. I mean, all those positions were changed, what, 2 years ago or whatever it was. Was it right or wrong? That's what the discussion would be.
Well, the point would be that there should be the director of the department. Always should have been, never should have been taken away.
Well, and I go back to, again, last month, we you know, we had the conversation and, I still think that we need to have this meeting.
Can I get Diane to hammer down a date for this meeting, so it actually gets done this time?
Well, I think that's the problem, nobody was like the chair of it, so I think that,
Mr. Collison,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, would you, like to share this little thing and get it going?
Sounds like a winner. Hey,
What we, I guess, what is the direction of that?
It reads, can I read from this?
Yep.
What it was, Christensen moved to refer the matter to the personnel committee. Andrew seconded, we did, and then it had a list of names of who was to be there. It was basically all the employees, including Mr. Collins.
and the police chief.
Yep.
And that's to decide whether or not we're gonna have like a director of this
Yes, I believe so.
department, and a supervisor of that department.
I just wanted to hammer it down so it gets done this time. It slipped through the cracks, let's just nip that in the bud. But we do still have a motion and a second on the floor.
And to me,
Would,
it's good to have the employees put their 2 cents in on it, so I mean.
That's why I like who's on that committee.
Ms. Johns, would you care to withdraw your motion pending, committee meeting on the subject?
I mean, as long as it happens this time, I'll rescind it.
Motion is stated.
I would like to be notified of that one too, I don't have to sit in on it.
I wanna sit in on,
I mean, I wanna sit in on it, I don't have to be part of it.
Everybody wants to be there. Do we set up another meeting for next Monday night? We don't have anything going on next Monday? That's not Valentine's Day, is it?
No, Sunday.
Sunday, Valentine's Day.
Just
Not this Sunday.
just for the employees and then you and whoever wants to be there, right? Not for the whole council.
If they want to be there, fine, if not.
Are you talking eight?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Could have it during the week too. The people are already here. since it's basically employees that are on the committee, you know, everybody's already here, why they can come back and pay them? They're not gonna get paid for it, are they? I don't know.
If we could do it at
I thought you
5:30.
said Sunday, I'm sorry, I thought you said Sunday.
Well, we said Monday.
Monday,
My mistake, my mistake.
Would if 5:30 works for anybody?
5:30 on Monday, everybody? All agreed?
Monday on that date, you said?
5:30.
Seriously, I thought you said Sunday.
You said it's down, is it down?
Can you send me an email on that Monday?
The question is, depending on how many council members want to attend that meeting, though, we might have to notice it as a council meeting. Can we notice something as a council meeting and then it's not a council meeting, it's a committee meeting to cover our butts? I think that's what we should do.
So notice it just.
Notice it as a council meeting, so that if a quorum of council members show up, then we're covered.
Joint council and committee meeting.
Are you gonna have someone who's running it, so it's gonna be asking you questions, so it gets it started?
That would be the mayor. Okay. City auditor. Are you back there?
I am here.
What do you want to talk about on the city park, public park, city agreement?
There's just a new agreement there in front of you, including, a clause. For transferring those, building permit fees that go for the park each year. They just wanted to have it set in motion to move forward, you know, so it wouldn't get forgotten about. I don't know if it's been done in the past to have those fees transferred from the building fund to the park fund. We couldn't see that it had.
Diane, do you have any time at all to go back and look at those? Because I don't think it ever was. I mean, we probably go to the police department and the parks. Like, look at that one year, 40 building permits or something. I mean,
You want me to look at those fees?
$150 per new house.
Yeah, I think so.
If it was ever transferred, and
I
not
don't
that
think it
they
ever
want,
was.
not that they wanna look at back, and they just wanna know that it's set in motion going forward. If you guys look at it backwards, then you do. But this is just another step to move forward properly, if that makes sense.
And that 15% is what we had discussed.
Previously, nothing else changed in the agreement except for the park fee on the building permit side.
Then I make a motion that we accept this agreement between the city of Surrey and the Surrey Park District and authorize the mayor to sign it.
I second that.
Motion by Elaine, seconded by Jennifer. Any further discussion?
I just have some quick math is that, like, when we did have those 40 new building permits at $150, that would have been $6,000 to both the police department and the park. So, I mean, if you do have time, Diane, please get a number. I think we should really look
Are
at
you
that.
looking at going back and making another transfer then, Jen? Is that
Well, that's what, I wanna know how much money it would be.
How far are we
But I
gonna
mean,
go
we can't
back?
charge them on the building permit and then not ever transfer it to the designated parties.
So where the heck is the money?
It would send, it
Probably
would
getting
send
like-
in the general.
So how far are you gonna go back?
You don't have to pay anything.
I know, but she still wants them to go back and look and see how much it is.
How long has that been a part of the building permit?
I would say bare minimum since I started in 2012. I think it's been on there since then.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. I mean, that's a long time ago, but it hasn't been on since the beginning. Just with that, when.
I remember Chuck and I, you and I worked on the revising the building permit right around 2013, maybe 2012, 2013.
So, yeah.
And I assume that's when it went on. So I mean, 8 years, 80 houses.
Okay, we have a motion by Elaine, second by Jenny.
There's no question about me.
And that's
This does, you'll have to forgive me, just double check it.
Put your hand up higher.
I know, I'm just trying to wait my turn. This does adhere to the agreement we made with the park, we offered the park was 50%, correct? I'm just double checking to make sure that's what it was. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Schultz.
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Okay, call over tonight.
I have a couple of issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
So here's my first question. Does everybody understand what clerk duties are?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody knows that, okay. The 6,000 a year, is that always gonna be 6,000 or is it subject to inflation? That kind of goes hand in hand with,
To the best of my understanding, it's been an agreed upon amount for the past forever.
right, so that goes hand in hand with, the agreement shall take effect January 1 and stay in effect unless everybody amends or votes to discontinue. So that means there has to be an agreement to terminate. So if this suddenly becomes disadvantageous for somebody, like we no longer can state aid.
We made our again.
Well, yeah, but the agreement requires another agreement to terminate. You can't just say, well, we're not making any money on this, so we're gonna stop the agreement. You have to have an agreement to stop.
Would it make sense to do it as a yearly thing? Just
Yeah, so it would be, it would last for 1 year and then automatically renew every year unless someone decided not to.
And how would you word that?
Exactly like that, I would say, let's see, this agreement should take effect January 1, 2021,
Be reviewed annually.
and be automatically renewed.
Do you want to auto renew it or do you want to revisit every,
I thought you said they wanted to review it.
well, they are going to want to review it.
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, just reviewed annually. Are you guys okay with that?
This agreement shall take effect January 1st, 2021, and be reviewed annually.
Simple.
Does that sound better, Mr. Schultz?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a revision to my motion based on that changing of item number 4.
I second that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call. Elaine,
Yes?
Jenny,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Brent. Yes. Michael
Yes.
and Twyla.
Yep.
Skip over to mayor, police.
How's it going, sir?
On the ground.
How's it going?
Good.
Good to hear.
Oh, and we have 2 quotes for the new police vehicle. I'll start, each one on the end here, so you can take a look at them and I'm talking. Okay, we got what I handed you was 2 quotes, one from Fergus Falls, Minnesota from Nelson Motors, the other from Wesley Motors that buying it on quote our new Ford pickup for the police department. You're only talking, I subtract the spotlight, which is on the Minnesota bid and not on the North Dakota bid, which was $300 for a spotlight for North Dakota, $790 for Minnesota. You're only talking $459 difference in the 2 bids for the vehicle. So my suggestion is, depending on, I'm going to talk to each dealership, what they would consider giving us trade on the vehicle that's being traded in. And at that point, make a decision, but looking at the close bids, I prefer to give it to Wesley Motors if they're close on the trade because it's local. And we've gotten the last 4 vehicles, so.
Yeah, I think we should buy in Steve.
How many other copies?
I don't think we have enough copies, I don't think.
No, I did it to pass it on, we just looked at it, because you're only talking that once you're done with the spot, like $459 difference.
This is,
Otherwise, it's the same vehicle.
this is a pickup now?
Yeah, why,
Yes,
why a truck?
because we had Ford Explorers and 4 years ago, when we had that bad snowstorm and it was terrible, I needed a half block out of my driveway and was stuck with the Explorer. And they just aren't tall enough. And I think one vehicle in town being a pickup would be a good thing to have on patrol. Especially when you're talking emergency situation, to get somebody there. The mileage on them are pretty similar now, on each city mileage. And the price is similar now also.
That's about what we paid for the car last time.
So that's why we're looking at a pickup mainly, is the availability in a rough winter to get from point A to B.
It's very much different.
Is this a single cab
Oh,
pickup?
it's a crew cab.
So then if you were to, for some reason, it's a snowstorm, are we gonna equip it that we can haul prisoners? That's the wrong.
Oh,
word.
no, it'll be equipped just like a normal patrol vehicle.
Okay,
It'll be exactly the same thing. In fact, the majority of the sheriff's departments and a lot of the police departments, because the mileage now and the equipment in it are similar, you'll start seeing a lot more of them in North Dakota. We've been fortunate the last 2 years with our winters, but we all know that it's coming.
I have a control house, they run a lot.
Yes, and we've been fortunate the last 2 years, but our time's gonna come, and I wanna make sure a vehicle we have available that's gonna get there.
And we're not trading anything in on this, or what are we doing?
No, I would like to trade in our vehicle if we get a decent price for it. If not, we can sell it outright, whichever we get the best deal on. Right now, the Ford Explorers at the stage going on sale have been selling pretty reasonable. They've been getting a pretty good price for it. I don't know how that'll compare to trade until I ask them. Other than that, this has been a busy week. Anna Olson was on patrol the other night and took the lead. For those of you that aren't aware, we had a shooting in southwest Surrey. Suspect from Minot, we got the warrants yesterday evening, and with assistance of the Warren County Sheriff's Department, I had Mike Mason and Anna Olson go in. She was lead on the case for here in Surrey on that, since she was the initial respondent to the call. I came in and covered the city. Well, they went in and served the warrants with the assistance of the Sheriff's Department and arrested the suspect, who was charged with reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, and also firing and discharging a firearm. It's all felonies. And he's in the Warren County Jail at this time. We got all the evidence to be sent down to the state crime lab. And today, I got called in, we got a missing child from the school. Located the child south of town, got reunited with his family, 11-year-old, so that was a happy ending to a rough day today. So I want you to know it's been a little busy and hectic this week, but things turned out well. Other than that, did anybody else have something for you?
Do you have the one car you want to get rid of anyway, right? So you're starting to have trouble with it.
Right, it's been the one that for some reason, ever since it was new, we put the most money into this one. It's been a problem since day one. We should not need another vehicle. I would say by the time this vehicle comes in, they haven't even started building due to COVID, the 2021s. We probably won't see it till September, October anyway. We're probably gonna look at 4 years before we get another vehicle again, so we can build up and fund. And we do have enough money in the fund. So hopefully, knock on wood, 4 more years, we can build up the fund for the next one. And one other thing that Diane isn't even aware of is a meeting that started, and I was opening my mail. We did get a $4,000 check from Burlington Northern
I
to
wondered
also
if that's what that was.
contribute towards our radios. Radios again, so very thankful for Burlington Northern, all the good about supporting the Surrey Police Department. And if someone is watching this on YouTube, I want to thank whoever supplied the cookies for the Surrey Fire Department and Police Department once again that they dropped off.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yay.
City administrator, proposed year-end transfers.
Okay, what does everyone think?
These are all supposed to happen normally anyways, correct?
Well, I've always gone to my council to get it approved, so it's in the minutes. Yeah, people audited me, would ask, if it wasn't in there, they wanted to know why. So
Does this match what it's previously had?
it matches what was in the budget, like say for the water reserve, the sewer reserve and that type of thing. The one for the police vehicle fund, what I did there was took pretty much the excess, it was 55.8 something, to put in their vehicle fund. And they'll be well on their way to getting their next vehicles, be a good start. This insurance reserve, I just wasn't real clear on that, Jenny, I'm gonna go to you because I remember talking to Jason once, I was still in Burlington, he was out here, when they made these changes and they had the insurance and the, advertising and social security, Medicare all go to general instead of its own fund. And I said, you know, it's hard with this insurance, I said, what if you go to budget? He said, I take the excess and put it in an insurance fund. I just remember him telling me that, because I thought it was,
I've never heard of it before, but,
yeah, but there isn't an insurance fund, so,
oh, gotcha, so you're just gonna create one?
yeah, is that something you wanna do or not?
Otherwise, you just do it in general.
It stays in the general fund. I have threw it on here because Jason told me at one time that he did that, and maybe he only did it 1 year, and the year I talked, because I think when I talked to him, it was the very first year it was happening.
I mean, I can see where there really wouldn't be a reserve, so to speak.
Well, and here's the thing, if you know what your insurance is gonna be for the year, but you have 2776 sitting over here, then you should budget less, in general, for the next, to help save a little bit on insurance.
The reason we were so low on insurance, or over on insurance budget, because we were short employees this year.
No, this is like insurance on the building, the vehicles, that's a property.
Wrong kind of insurance.
Property insurance, yeah. Because if you leave it in there, then you're gonna tax everybody again for the full amount. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, like you said, I mean, if you know the building's gonna cost $2,400 a year, that's kind of what it is. What is the cost? Is that around that price? We can just use it for that.
There's two different ones, there's the dirt and, I don't remember.
Yeah, I would have.
And they can change, I've added stuff to the insurance, so this goes up a little bit. Not really, the companies we have are incredibly cheap. So this just happens to be an excess. I would say it was calculated from maybe in the budget, just a guess, or something major changed in the insurance policy.
Well, is this also covering workforce safety?
No, this is just the.
Just the number,
And then state by your tornado.
okay?
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I think, Diane, if you think it's a good idea, I mean, we should do it.
It can't hurt. The only thing you have to keep in mind when you do the next budget, so we don't budget the whole thing in the general fund and forget what that we have this excess. But I'll make a note of my file and.
Okay.
Any other comments on any of the other transfers?
What were we going to do with we talked about closing out the garbage reserve.
This is those two that I have on the bottom of the second paragraph.
Yeah.
That's what we decided to do.
Okay, and so this will completely close out a zero balance on the garbage reserve then?
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Charlotte.
Was that insurance reserve fund meant to act as a deductible for any of our insurance policies? To bank up a deductible for any of those policies?
Would be, I don't think Jason, he didn't explain much, he just happened to, we were just talking about, oh, they made all these changes, and he said, he just happened to mention that he would transfer what was left of the insurance reserve at the end.
Would it make sense to look into the fact of whether there are deductibles for those, any of those policies?
Oh, yeah, there's deductibles.
Okay, so if there was a point at which there was a deductible needed, if we didn't have to make a claim, it would make sense to have a deductible available in an insurance reserve fund.
That's
perhaps.
true, that's true, yes.
So the vector control fund, that's the mosquito fund, and are we still doing that, or what did we decide to do with that? We were gonna get a new machine, and we didn't, right?
We got something else, didn't we?
We got a new machine out of last year's budget, instead of getting side by side, we went with a new logger, and we paid for it out of last year's budget, and got in possession this year.
And then just run a pickup for this year, this next summer?
And Diane, you had started this because it should have been a separate account when they started it years ago, correct?
Well,
And we,
I wasn't here, but yes, I think it should have been, that's,
so that's why we
otherwise it
created that
disappears, if
separate
you will,
fund.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what we about.
If there's no other discussion, I guess I would like to make a motion, unless you guys have some discussion, to approve the 2020 proposed year-end transfers as Diane has proposed.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the proposed year-end transfers. Motion by Elaine, a second by Steve.
Then, are we supposed to have like approval of the year-end financial report by March 1st or something?
Yeah,
We are,
Yeah,
yes.
Do you need like a special meeting call for that as well?
Does it have to be a meeting for it? Can we just get it to you? Or does it have to be discussed, or
I think it doesn't have to be approved and sent to the paper.
it has to get approved before it goes to the paper?
I believe so, yeah.
You know?
I don't know if it needed to be approved. I always had it done before this point.
You
So
don't have it to the March meeting, it has to be.
March 1st is the date that it has to be published to the paper.
Well, if you find out, I'm just asking, if you find out you need one, just call it.
Anita's been working on it, so yeah, we'll check it out.
So I assume all those numbers probably February.
Welcome to Monday. Hi, March first.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second by Steve. We'll do a voice vote on it, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Other business.
So can I just ask, you can take 20% of your gross receipts, your gross income, to all of your enterprise funds to transfer to other places too. Is that anything anybody would want to do?
Isn't that, it's been so long, isn't that kind of how we would build up those reserve funds, is by taking,
Okay.
do you remember that?
No, that's absolutely correct. I guess until we see the final report.
Okay, so you want to see it next month and then we'll look again? Okay. I'll put some numbers together on the 20% and see what.
And that has to do the statement first of March. You see, from years ago, we always had those at this.
You had the.
We looked at it to see what was what.
Okay.
And you didn't have to call another.
Yeah, that's why it's done, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, let's say you get it done by next Monday, we can slap that on if there's gonna be, I guess, a quorum of lots of people at that committee meeting, that was before or after that.
Right. You think you can have it done by then? Anita?
By when?
Monday.
As soon as you get those transfers,
Yeah, see, I had.
we'll be able to rock out the new numbers. It's already all established, except
It's
for
just
that.
on these transfers, because that'll change more stuff.
Yep.
Oh, like these numbers. Okay.
So we should just plan on then council for final year-end figures next Monday as well as the committee, correct?
Yes, that sounds reasonable.
And before or after, we have to be after this, after the.
Correct.
Meeting.
That sounds great. Other business,
Chuck, did you have that paper from,
we gave that,
okay,
from the gambling thing.
yeah, we don't have to do anything with that?
Well, she said not.
Okay.
Just,
No,
that's
you
two
don't.
sides. Correspondence. Number 6, complaint committee informational. Has really been told on.
No, that's two different items.
Oh, that's too different, right? Okay, Twyla, do you have something on the?
No, I think I included a report from the committee to everybody. It's really just an informational thing. We met, we had a great discussion, and this is what we're gonna try to do, like you said at the beginning of the meeting, to adhere to the enforcement. Every council member will treat every person with respect and demonstrate good leadership.
Sounds good. Mr. Schultz, did you have something?
No, I think this is just a copy of the letter that I sent to the Department of Labor. So it doesn't need to be discussed, it's just a kind of authorizing discussion.
Okay, executive session. Next item on the agenda is attorney consultation regarding attorney consultation. For update on labor, the Department of Labor regarding human rights complaint under 440419, sections 1 and 2. This item must be discussed in executive session. The legal authority for closing this portion of the meeting is North Dakota Century Code 440419, 1 and 2. The topic of this executive session is attorney consultation regarding an update on the Department of Labor regarding human rights complaint. At this time, a motion would be in order to discuss the next topic in executive session rather than in an open meeting. Is there such a motion?
I'll make that.
Motion by Mike,
I'll second.
second by Twyla. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mike,
Yes.
Twyla,
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
and Steve. Yep. Motion carried. The executive session will be recorded and all members of the governing body are reminded to limit their discussion during the executive session to the announced topic. Any collective decision, commitment, or other final action by the governing body must occur after it reconvenes in an open meeting, unless final action is specifically required by law to be taken during the executive session. The prohibition on taking final action during the executive session does not apply, providing guidance or instructions to our attorneys. So we'll now ask the members of the public who are attending this meeting to leave the room. Immediately after joining the executive session, we will reconvene the open portion of the meeting. The minutes will show that the executive session began at 8:40.
No.